That is how we sync sound. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to do a bit of a rambling video on this topic at the moment, and I'm not sure how this is going to come out. It's the first time trying to do this, but I'm going to talk about a problem that I've been going through at the moment in part of the development process, and then kind of how I've been tackling it, but also as well a little bit on like concepts of UX, UI, agile development, having a vision, whether you stick to it or not, you know, and all them kind of things that we struggle with when we're going through development. So to start with, let me quickly show you what we've got going on. So, boom. Okay, so we're building on time in full at the moment. And if we load up the game, we've got our candle shop, which is what we're building for the demo. Now, when I load this up at the moment, you'll see I have this progress block that appears here. Now, what this is a progress bar that I've been working on for the last little while. We had an earlier version which had it in, and it didn't work properly, but I had it working. I had a bar that sort of went green when stuff was done or in progress, and it done a little bit of effect on it, but it wasn't perfect. So I turned around and went, all right, I want to make another one. So I want to improve on it. So we've got this here, and just started up the game, and you see the tickets going through, and at the moment currently the bar doesn't show. Okay, so he's not coming through. All right, so if I press P now, it will force the bar to come through. Put this ticket in here. When it gets assigned, the bar should click in. Oh no, it's still not clicking in. Haha, great. Great, let me go try that again. Candle shop. Press P. Bar's there. Oh, wonderful. I've got my keyboard there, and I've got cursor running as well at the same time, helping me build this out. Say helping me, it's doing a lot of the development work, quite frankly. I think where I'm doing a lot of the work is in the story writing and the requirement writing, which I've done for many, many years. I'm using an AI tool for that, but that actually works quite well for me. But the point being that I need to use cursor. I'm not a developer. I don't pretend to be one, is the line I always use. So this is helping me do it. So I think it's just reversing back what I said, and then we can have another look at the board as it's coming through. But I've also got this enterprise level as well, which has got a lot more things going on in it. And yeah, we still got the thing loading up, the progress bars loading up there. I'm just going to quickly run through. I think it will. Oh no, it's going for the childs as well. Interesting. Okay. But I want to talk about this as well at one point, which is this card here, which doesn't have, as you see, doesn't have the progress bar. So let's just grab a little screenshot of that, because we're going to talk about that with our Figma board that we've been working on. That will work. Master edits. Get permission, put that there. Whoop. So this is some of the iterations that we've been going through in making these cards, and it started off with this main one that you see here. I'm just putting OBS back so I can see what's going on one screen. So it started with this main one here, which was title of the card. It had a little avatar indicating the person, it had the name, and then we had the progress block, progress title, and then the progress bar, effort features, and things like that. When I started mapping it out though, I kind of went, you know what, I actually don't need the name because the avatar's doing the job. So we took the avatar off. We took the avatar off. Oh no, we took the avatar off. We took the name off, and we were just using the avatar. And then, because at one point it was going to be like this, and it was just like, it's just a lot crammed. And I think there's too much information going on here, because what as the player you need to know is what is getting worked on, and then we're duplicating who's working on it with first name, last name, the avatar. So there's two bits of information there. We've also got another thing, which is ticket type, which I've actually gone against them backwards and forwards. Probably do a different video about it in the future. But then also this notion of effort and value. But like the main thing comes down to that we're talking about today is this progress bar. So with the progress bar, the idea is that it shows what is going on for the user while they're working. Because from my years of experience working with people, particularly stakeholders and of a non-technical nature, if you was to go to them like, well, you know, we have this feature that we're building. In this case, we're actually building a role agnostic progress bar system. And someone goes, well, how's it going? And I'm there like, well, TD is working on it. Well, how long's TD going to take? What's his progress? How's it think? The problem is with this sort of Jira displays, it doesn't show a visual indication of actually like how progress is going and is progress being made. Now, in an agile working place, I think there's an argument to be made that you don't actually talk about how long something is doing. It's whether or not it's being worked on and whether or not there are blockers, etc. And there's a whole different wave of conversations that we can have around that. But the point being that in the current Jira setup, and I think the same with Monday and Asana, I think Trello does it a bit differently. When you actually go into the ticket, it does show sort of a percentage progress bar. There is a point to kind of go, well, what is going on here? Now, there are settings that you can do in Jira and you can customize it. You can put in the little dots to indicate how long a ticket's been in there. So there are ways you can sort of like visualize it. But there isn't an understanding of completion of the task. And I've been going backwards and forwards because I've been going, well, isn't surely the position the card is on the board, because ultimately what you want to do is get it over to done, isn't that actually indication enough? And it's there like, well, I don't think it is. And I think for some users, they need to see that little progress part going through. So this ticket we've actually been working on, which is about building in the role-based part of it, I thought this was going to be quite a simple job because I had already built and designed the UI element. It was there. It was kind of like plugging in the logic. Well, stupidity on my part or ignorance on my part, I've been bashing my head against Cursor with this for the last like day and a half and just not getting anywhere. And then I landed late last night at the point of, well, shall we just do it without the card? You know, does it actually really need to be there or not? And I'm towing and going between 1 and 2 in it. So, and this is why I've got the whiteboard up here now. It's to kind of show, well, this is kind of what it looks like without it. Versus some of the ones with it look good. I'm just trying to get Cursor to finish working. It's actually taking its time. Something's going on with it at the moment. You finished? No, you're still going. But my rambling point is the idea of the progress bar is to show the user that progress is being made in the column. And that's actually why I'm trying to build this thing out. So although this doesn't show it, the problem with this, red. It doesn't show in column progress. So I'm looking into other ways of doing it at the moment as well, about whether or not there was one idea we had, and I had it in a build, but I haven't got any videos of it, where we had like a little cog animation going through, and that was to indicate that work is being made and progress is being done, but I'm still having this same problem with it, and it's just not working with Cursor. And because I don't have the technical expertise really to go into it and figure it out myself, I'm sort of left at Cursor's requirement, Cursor's beck and call, as it were. But I did land on this thing about taking it off, and it was very late last night, and I kind of feel like maybe it works without it or not. but I'm unsure, and I don't know whether to commit to one or the other. I think what I'm going to do going forward now is we did start making some progress with it. It was working. We were getting movement. Is that it? Did you reverse last change? Oh no, it's queued. It's still working on this one. I need to do a separate video about cursor and my experiences developing with it. Hopefully, yeah, last thing you done was just them 5 lines. Okay. Can I accept that? I'm just waiting. Godot need a kick. Review next file. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. No, they're the exact same. I wonder if it's because is the game still running? Oh, the game's still running. That's taken a long time for cursor. Normally cursor's a bit quicker than that. Oh. I've just discarded the changes from GitHub. Let's see if that works now. There we go. Right, okay. So this is the progress bar that I was talking about. So you can see here now, it loads up and the colours change as you kind of progress through. And you know what? I sort of debate whether or not there's too much visually going on inside that cards, but actually I really think it does need it actually. So you know what? I think we're going to persevere and we're going to keep this in because I think the player needs that little bit of just like reminder that there is something going on and the game's not broke, particularly because I'm going to be releasing it in a demo and alpha status. What I am worried about as well is how these animations are going a bit nuts. I get the feeling there's a lot going on at the moment that's causing some issues. So let's have a look. See, look, but that's another problem though, is that to do what the I think what's going on at the moment, if you notice, it's doing it per column, the progress, and I'm wondering if the column is. I did want it to be throughout like the whole actual the original spec I put down for this ticket was that the progress bar would show for like the whole scope of the board, but actually thinking about it now, you actually don't need it for the whole spec of the board. The Kanban board, the column system itself is indicating of that. You actually don't need that. It should actually be this progress bar as an indication actually of how the card is progressing in that column. So I think I'm going to keep it like that. And another rambling point is to go on to this is I think this is where, to the point about agile delivery and just as a whole, in the sense that, like, you know, we landed on originally what the progress bar was going to do, and then I wrote this huge ticket which was about it being it's going to be column weighted, role agnostic. So the idea is that each column in a workflow is assigned an estimated duration in days. At the moment, it can't work for the system. It does it for just that column, and the idea was to build it out so that it would do like across the whole progress of the Kanban board, not just for the column. And it's kind of like you play around, test it, and then you go with it. But, you know, look, the last day and a half has been so annoying. It's just been so frustrated in with it all. And I'm just glad I reverted the change myself. You was taking too long. Sorry. Just think cursor. It can be quite hard, particularly when you're stuck at a problem and you don't know how to fix it. But I think what my rambling advice is in this sort of like little bit of a dev diary is just to kind of go back to, you know, looking at what actually are you trying to, what is the problem you're trying to solve here with this. Now, look, I think this feature, though, I think that when it comes down to the releasing of the demo, if I don't get it working, the progress bar properly, I think it's fine to go live like this. I think not even from an MVP perspective, I think that from, if we was to do a user story mapping session about this, and maybe we will do, this is a feature that doesn't necessarily need to be there. You know, it's a good feature that provides added value and it adds intuitivity, but I don't think it's necessarily needed for the core gameplay mechanic, especially for the demo release and the alpha release. So yeah, but I will carry on about it. I think I'll probably spend the next day to doing it, and then we'll see how we go from there. Cool. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the journey, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye-bye.